Should we do it? I mean, I feel like there's no point to making just ranking how difficult they are. Let's talk about how much I like them. Like in hindsight, now that I don't have to deal with them anymore, how good was the experience of playing them? So let's get that out of the way, right? Let's get that out of the way first. But yeah, this boss goes here because it was just honestly a really cool mechanic and I liked it. And these bosses made me suffer. What other boss? Okay, technically this boss made me suffer, but that was self-inflicted, right? Oh, thank you. I think Shock Trooper and Duck are the same tier. I mean, that's delusional in my opinion. The problem with the Duck is Knuckle Duckle is not really like a conceptually difficult boss. And I actually kind of do like the mechanic, but it just has way too much HP. But I actually don't really mind the mechanic of Knuckle Duckle very much. Like, I think it's a fine mechanic. Unlike this, where the mechanic sucks ass, right? So I don't hate Duck as much. The shill is just too much. But the thing is, it's not even like the Duck is more shill than other bosses. Like, the performance gap between what is getting shilled, aka Flynn's, and what isn't getting shilled, aka, like, I don't know, Mawika, Nefer, and whatnot, isn't even that big. It's just that the DPS requirement is higher. So it feels more shill to people who don't have the shill, but to people who have the shill, it doesn't feel more shill, it just feels harder. Like, in terms of how it impacts my enjoyment, higher DPS requirements suck, right? And it makes me like the boss less. But if it's just higher DPS requirement and the shield mechanic isn't that bad, then I don't hate the boss as much as some of the other bosses. I think it's harsher on players, but for my personal enjoyment, I don't mind the duck as much as I hated these. Okay. What else was like a good boss? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna make some people upset with this. I think Papilla joins Drake in the S tier. Papilla is the last remnant of Genshin Shill being acceptable. Yeah, exactly. There's so many different ways of dealing with Papilla. You don't have to do. It's not even just that you don't have to do Night Soul. Is that there's a lot of accounts that have Natlan characters where their best character against a Papilla won't be that Natlan character. And the like ways to deal with the shield that like are shield based, like you can get through them with Pyro MC very quickly, right? Not everyone has C6 official. That's a very reasonable point. But it doesn't function as a counter argument here because this is not how good I think the boss designs are. This is just ranking my personal enjoyment of them. Like in hindsight, and this might just be like my brain chemistry getting completely rewritten by how awful Shill is in Nodcry. But like Natlan Shill was really not that bad. My god. I don't know if I'm delusional, but Hera was fun. The biggest issue with Hera for me was that a lot of the good strategies for Hera relied on you owning Skyward Blade, and I don't own Skyward Blade. A lot of the stuff that I know I would have had a fun time with for Hera rely on Skyward Blade to get through the shield. So for me, that's just cooked, man. Yeah, like, obviously I could get through it with Fischl, but what about when I want to play teams that don't use Fischl? I guess that's on me for wanting to play teams that don't use Fischl. Fair. Good point. Good point. Anyways, Hera goes in, like, B. I in what here's the Jeff saying, honestly, Darkrai Shill wasn't that bad. Yeah, I mean, probably. Who knows? Is he doing Smash or Pass for bosses? Yes. You know, don't you ever see the Tenebrous Papilla and go like, Isn't that the natural reaction? Papilla can shapeshift, so you might be onto something. I feel violated by that sound. My bad. I'm tenebrosing my papilla. Yeah, who up tenebrosing their papilla right now? Anyways, okay. What's next? Tulpa was pretty fun, honestly. I kind of like Tulpa. Tulpa was alright. I like doing the double Byronado wish handling. That was fun. My streamer is a freak, bro. What the fuck? What do you mean? Do you believe in Versa for Moongecko next patch? I mean, kinda, yeah. As long as the Moongecko isn't too aggressive and Chevaliers can actually heal you back up. Because the biggest problem with relatively low potency healers into Radiant enemies is that you can heal it back up pretty easily if you don't get hit. But if you get hit, it's really hard to heal it back up. You can iframe the debuff, by the way. Is that true? Yeah. Huh. Cool. I'll leave with the active character, I see. That feels like the kind of thing they'd fix. Klee is an actual tactical nuke in that overload team. Yeah, but then the problem is that you're playing Klee. And it's still Stygian Onslaught with enemies having 2026 levels of HP. I'm sure Klee will be able to get through, but I don't think she'll be the best at it. Okay, who's next? Lava Dragon. Okay, unironically, I would put this boss in A, but because Lava Dragon shills like pyro hits, and it made me play Kanich more, I'm gonna put it in B. Just as a result of having played Kanich because of it. You look at Natlan characters, right? And you look at Natlan carries, and they're like, there's some that are good, right? But for the ones that like aren't like just outright very fucking powerful, aka Mawika, right? For the ones that aren't Mawika, some of them just don't have that much DPS. And some of them do have a lot of DPS, but just feel really bad to play, right? Why does Kanich have both of those? Why does he feel bad to play and have unimpressive DPS? Why? Why? Because he's a man. But like, okay, I was gonna say like, but like Flynn's, but I opened the character archive and Barco was on the screen, and you know what? You have a point. Just hit 6 E's, but like, why is it that 6E Kanich, which is basically fucking impossible, is still, like, the worst Natlan carry? It's probably better than Chaska. Better than Varessa. True! For real, if Arca doesn't have signature support, like Never Flynn's Hidra, the DPS is a dog shit without Llama and around or even lower than right now. Genuine question. You said genuine question, but you didn't ask a question, so I'm very confused. I have to infer your question from what you said. Are you asking if maybe you asked a question earlier and I missed it? No, you didn't. Okay. So let's try to infer the question. Are you saying, is Varkar really that bad when that's the case? And the answer to that is like, no, but like, how possible is it that he's actually good just without support like Nefer/Flynn's? The main difference is that with Nefer, with Flynn's, it made sense for them to be as reliant as they were on their signature supports, in a way, because what they did was new, and characters that were released before Nodcry weren't designed around enabling what Flynn's and what Nefer does, right? What Varka does isn't new. They're gonna artificially create that same synergy, most likely, with Hexerai bullshit. But it's not like he can't benefit from the currently available powerful supports. It's just that the currently available powerful supports aren't powerful enough to help him. He needs even more than that. And that's gonna be Shill. But like, if you're asking, will Varka get better with Nicole? Probably. Like, I don't want anyone to pull for Varka expecting him to get better with Nicole, because there's always a chance that they make Nicole dog shit too, right? Fuck, we don't even know that Nicole's a support. Like, what if she's just a fucking carry? What if the leakers were just lying? Like, we're still in pre-beta. Nothing is like actually set in stone yet. So I don't want anyone to be like, okay, well, I know for a fact that Varka's gonna be good. So as someone who cares a lot about the meta, I can still pull for Varka and expect to have good results with him. But is it very possible that he turns out to be good when Sniggle comes out? Yeah, for sure. But you can always get him on a rerun if that's the case. This is possibly the next Varka shill new boss. Once a watcher dwelling in the heaven, it can monitor and counter elemental attacks. What the fuck does that do, though? It says it'll monitor elements once you do a bunch of instances of damage with it. But what does it monitoring element do? Eh, whatever. Who cares? Let's keep going with this. It gets immune, but it doesn't say that, though. That would be really bad for Varka. Okay. Okay, you want to know what my hot take is? This boss fucking sucked, okay? It was easy, but it sucked. This was not a good boss. Because, like, okay, Gene Cheese, I don't really feel that strongly about. I think it is a good thing for the game that it exists. And I think the specific shield against this boss was, like, or the specific cheese against this boss was, like, fine. But if you weren't doing the Gene Cheese, bosses just deciding, okay, I will now go hover in the air for a solid, like, 6 seconds. Sucks so much ass. And yeah, the HP was low enough that you could still clear despite that. But, like, having a successful clear after Mawika burst missing is not fun. It doesn't feel fulfilling or satisfying. It makes me feel ashamed of myself. It makes me upset. It makes me look back on my life and wonder where it all went wrong. It makes me think I should have finished my degree. Anyways. It went wrong when you pressed go live. Actually, it's start streaming. So, take that. Okay. How bad is the automaton? The automaton kinda sucks. Honestly, the biggest problem with the automaton is that we had it twice. Like, why did it come back? It wasn't that fun the first time around. Why bring it back? I'll put it in C. It's saved from the D tier by the fact that it's doable with Arlecchino and Mawiko in melt teams, but, like, it still doesn't feel great, so, ugh. Cojito. Cojito. Is it a J or a G? I forgot. I forgot how you write his name. Is it Cojito? Oh, it's Cosijo. Right, my bad. Cosijo. Why is Versa bad against all the bosses in D? I mean, that's not true. I cleared this boss with Versa. I cleared this boss. Did I clear this boss with Versa? I don't know if I did, but I don't think could have. Who was this boss supposed to shill? Again, this was supposed to be a Molani shill. Turtle was, dare I say, relatively fun. I don't dare say. It was fine. No, it was relatively fun. I forgot about the Singto tech. No, that's true. That's true. There was that Singto tech. What Singto tech? So the boss doesn't record instances of elemental application. It records instances of elemental hits. Actually, did it work on physical too? Maybe. I don't know. Who cares? It records the amount of hits. So if you have characters that can apply their element without dealing damage, like literally 0 damage, without actually hitting, then it allows you to play carries that hit more often. So you could do Arlecchino Vape with Singto E as your application, or Barbara E, or Nilo E. Yeah. Cactus. How good was Cactus? For me, Cactus was okay. It was like, it wasn't hard, but it wasn't like fun. It was just meh. Unironically though, there's something I really didn't like about the Cactus, which is that it has a mechanic that incentivizes you to set up a rotation while it's stalling, right? With a shuffle. You're incentivized to set up the rotation while he's stalling. But if you use 5-star character bursts, you can't look at the hat. And then you lose track of which hat is the right one. And it was just so dumb. And it wasn't even that bad, but it was stupid. It's the sort of boss design that is like, if you're gonna have 5-star animations force you to like move the camera and not look at what the enemies are doing, you can't make bosses that incentivize you to use those bursts at a time where you need to be looking at the screen. I wish there was an alternate way to track the real hat. I mean, you can know which hat is the real one by looking at them from their animations. Like the fake hats and the real hats have different animations. But you need to wait for them to do something in order to be able to tell. Yeah, like the real one has a mustache. But it doesn't always show up. Sometimes he hides it. It's also the last one to attack in the like in a lot of the patterns. How do you even hide a mustache? Bro, it just fucking like he does this. It's like our characters haven't attained object permanence yet. Like it's cooked. Anyways, next. This boss. Honestly, this boss was pretty nice. Like, I think conceptually it kind of sucks, but because it was so squishy and it was doable with 4-star only, it ended up being a lot more fun. Zajef is maybe confirmed losing to Peekaboo. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I did lose to Peekaboo, and I'm not ashamed of it, okay? That shit's hard, man. Fuck. Have you ever played Peekaboo with your life on the line? My god. The Shock Trooper. So, personally, it goes in C. But that is self-inflicted. Like, I'm aware of that. It was a bad experience for me because of the amount of time I spent clearing it in Dire with the Varesa Shenyan team. And honestly, that's because I had to play Farina for like 10 hours. Like, bro, that, ugh, disgusting. Like, my god. I love how much use the Days Without Farina slander remote gets in this chat. Like, you guys need to realize that every time you use that emote, it makes you want to talk shit about her more. I mean, you're probably aware. It's like you're leaning into it. Honestly, you guys pretend like you don't like it, but I know that deep down, every time I say something bad about Farina, you guys are smiling. Like I'm sure your roommate is like, "Hey, Snoop Kappa, why are you smiling right now?" And you're just in your head thinking, he doesn't know Zajef just slandered Farina. Like 100% that's what's happening. Okay. Sigurd. I don't know. How this boss was kind of ass. I did this boss before I owned a Nodcry character. I had Llama, but it wasn't. I didn't have an Ascendant Gleam team. You use Dino, yeah, but that's not a real team. Like that's what we gotta understand. He was kind of ass, but he doesn't deserve the D tier. Like it wasn't that bad. Going off Dire, Fearless it was easy, but holy shit, it was so much HP. Yeah, look at the difference in HP. This Hera goes from 8 to 12. Operative from 7 to 13. Sigurd goes from 3 to 8. That shit almost triples, man! It's like... all of this is off of my own experience, and I didn't bother with Dire on Sigurd, right? I didn't bother even attempting it with any of my teams. Maybe I tried it like once, and I was like, yeah, I'm not getting anywhere close, and I was like, okay, whatever. And in Fearless, compared to other DPS checks, Sigurd wasn't that bad. Like, non-lunar Sigurd on a good team. Like, if you look at the teams that are that have enough DPS to kill Knuckle Duckle with the shill mechanic, or brute force the dog, or brute force the shock trooper. Non-lunar, like the teams that are able to do that now were definitely able to brute force Sigurd in Fearless. But Sigurd is probably the biggest jump between Fearless and Dire for non-shill teams. I mean, it's also pretty big for shill teams, but it's so much easier for shill teams that it's not that big of a deal. But like, if you didn't bother with Dire, just looking at Fearless, Sigurd was really not that awful. Like, honestly, Sigurd wasn't the worst boss here. I guess I should have it here then, because I think, but like the thing about Hera is that like it was worse, but there was also some fun stuff, right? Sigurd was just boring. I think I'm fine having it below. Isn't Dog insane HP on Dire? Yeah, but it doesn't even double its HP. Sigurd was like almost triple. In terms of difficulty gap between Fearless and Dire, I think Sigurd was by far the biggest gap. It's just that it wasn't as hard as the current ones. Why do we have so many Flynn's shill bosses, man? Well, we have to make Flynn's feel like he's part of the team when you look at the Nod Cry good carries, right? Alright, Frost Operative. I mean, it was fine. But it also had the problem that was kind of boring. Let's put it in B. Baptist. S? That shit wasn't S. Okay, actually, I did clear Baptist with Sethos, so maybe... Smash, no question. Yeah, when you put it that way. I don't think it makes it an S, but I think I do put it in A. How do you remember their names? I do this for a living, man. I think I fucking better. I don't remember their titles, but like, at least the names of the bosses, right? The Iniquitous Baptist. Ah, shit. I don't know what this boss is called. That's the crab. Okay, maybe. Okay, sorry. Hydrotulpa, Cosio, Tenebris Papilla, Aeon Blight Drake. Is it Frost Knight Hera? Frost Moon Hera? I think it's Frost Knight. Yeah, Frost Knight Hera. Lava Dragon statue? Pipilpan or something? Yeah, the Pipilpan idol. Big. I think this was... I don't actually know. It was operative, but I don't remember what the full name was. It's just Frost Operative, okay. Knuckle Duckle. Secret Source Automaton Overseer Device. Battle Hardened Shock Trooper. Sigurd. Emperor of Fire and Iron? Question mark? Dog. Bat. Yes. Okay, it's just the name of the Saurian. Emperor of Fire and Iron, yeah. Lord of the Hidden Depths. Okay. That's actually impressive. True. True. I am impressive. I don't know why it took you guys so long to all this, but can't even name 15 of it. God. Okay, the gravity boss. This is the experimental field generator. Okay, unironically, this boss goes in B because of Molani. It was a fun boss, but for some fucking reason, I thought it was a good idea to try to do it with Milani. He said it was the most fun since Dendro. Yeah, if I look at the fun times I had with it, it was really fun. The problem is, it also made me mauled like crazy. That's Milani's fault. I mean, that sounds like you're blaming a woman. Okay. Personally, I don't think it's her fault. I think she did nothing wrong. Yeah, blame it on me instead. Anyways, finally, Mandragora. Honestly, Mandragora is not that bad. Did you try Mandragora Milani? I did, actually. It wasn't that fun, but it wasn't, like, that bad. One of these two. I guess it doesn't really have enough fun stuff to be here. But when I think about it that way, neither does this boss. Alright, let's do that then. This is the tier list of how much I enjoyed each Stygian boss in hindsight.